What is up, everybody? Here we are, episode 9 of the B+Ball Boys podcast. Regular season winding down. We got some things to get into. So before we get started, how are we all doing, boys? We feeling good?
Just glad I don't have to look at my bracket anymore. I know I said it was busted, but it's just hurt. It hurts, man, because my champion was Villanova. And if Justin Moore didn't get injured, I really think we would be watching it right now.
That's fair.
I'm doing great. I was kind of out on college basketball when both Memphis and UCLA lost. And now it looks like Memphis is going to be like suspended from the postseason or something. So like I'm just out on the NCAA right now.
I just want to say, anyone out there that picked Gonzaga to win it all or even go to the Final Four, you're a sucker.
That's foolish. Yeah. That's like fool me once, but like 20 years in a row.
Yeah. Okay, cool. Also, well, Coach K is gonna come back, we think, also, right? Or
absolutely not.
He's coming out of retirement like
he's pulling a Brady.
He's doing the TV. He's on TB12 method for sure. Yeah.
Okay. Well, as always, I guess let's start it with some players who've been pushing P this past week. We think, I guess I can start. I think Clay's been a fun story back, but he looks a little uncomfortable out there, so it's nice when he has a big old time type Clay night, which he did against Utah. 36-5-2, shot like 43% from three, 50% overall. That was tight. Got the win. Nice when his co-star is not there, his fellow brother's not out there. So props on that one. Who was impressing you guys this week?
I have Giannis Antetokounmpo. I could pull the stat lines out, but just think about that crossover step back three he had to tie the game in Brooklyn.
Mm-hmm.
And that tells you really all you need to know, because Reggie Miller, who's on the call, every time Giannis will take a three, whether he makes it or miss it, will go, "Oh, you'll live with that. You'll live with that." And Reggie Miller, who was on the call, could not do his normal thing of being like, "You live with that," because this, like, that matters. That's a Giannis Antetokounmpo. People never would have expected him to be able to. People called him like run and dunk man and like no bag, which was always foolish to begin with. But they called him that. He's hitting step back threes to tie the game in the clutch on the road. Like, he had 44 points that game too, by the way. But it's looking dangerous. Giannis is my player pushing P of the week here.
I love it.
Switch it up.
You're switching it up, Eric?
Not well. I'll explain. But my player pushing P is Jalen Horde of the Oklahoma City Thunder, and here's why.
Okay.
Man grabbed 20 boards. Was minus 16 on the floor. How is that possible?
Okay.
I feel like that. I mean, you want to talk about stat padding? That's incredible. 20
It's a team game, Eric.
What's up?
It's a team game.
Minus 16. That's crazy, man. But I want to give a shout out to anyone getting 20 boards, man. Even if it's maybe the worst matchup in basketball, Oklahoma City versus Detroit. But hey, you know what?
20 boards is 20 boards.
I saw it. You know what? 20 boards, man.
Board man gets paid.
Can't even get 2 boards at the park. Grabbing 20. Incredible. So that's pushing P in my book.
Shout out Jalen Horde. It's a new name for me. I'm gonna be
me too. Okay, good on
him. I consider myself to know like almost every NBA player, to be honest with you, and Jalen Horde is a new one for me. So I'm impressed with Eric on this one.
Thank you. He's around our age. He's from France.
Oh, okay.
And he's 6'8".
Oh wow.
So,
6'8" and grabbing 20 boards.
20 boards, yeah.
It's impressive.
Nice.
Well, as we mentioned, the season's coming to an end. So I think we wanted to do a rundown of who we have for each of the major awards here. chief among them being MVP. I think now in the media it's down to what, like a 5-man race sort of, with like a tier of top 3 of like Jokic and Embiid and who else? Giannis. Yeah, okay, sorry. And then we have like Luka and Tatum 4, 5, and Booker. Okay, so I guess we have like 2 tiers of 3. But who do we each have as our MVP this year?
I'm gonna let Eric go first.
I am so excited to hear what my man Marco has to say. I'm shocked. And when I say my pick, it's not an exciting pick. I want to just go through the guessing game I just played with Marco. So my MVP is Nikola Jokic. The way I look at MVP is how your team would fare without you on the floor. Nuggets would be an absolute lottery pick without him. And the man had 18 boards against the Lakers the other day, and he's been doing stuff like that all season. So that's my MVP. But okay, that's not important. I just tried to guess who Marco's MVP was. I'm gonna tee him up. I guess Jokic, his Serbian brother. He said no. And so I said, what the heck? Who could it be? And I said, oh, John Morant, his Memphis man. No. Marco, who the hell is your MVP?
It's Giannis Antetokounmpo.
Okay.
First of all, I think that there is no one consistent factor that goes into who is the MVP. It seems to change every year.
Mhm.
So for that reason, you just kind of got to take all of them into account. Who's the best player? Who's the highest seed? Who has the most wins? Who is averaging the most, stats, the normal stats that we look at? Who has the biggest impact on defense? Who is some voters like to look at the storyline. Okay. I'm not going to go with that one personally, but just who's playing overall the best basketball. And I got Giannis. First of all, he played out of position for most of the year. Am I going to say that he deserves Defensive Player of the Year? We'll talk about that. I feel like he should be up there, but probably not for the same reason. He played out of position for most of the year. They still had a workable defense until Brook Lopez came back. I'm not going to say it was great because it wasn't, but it was like 12th or 10th for most of the year. He held it down when playing without a guy who was a Defensive Player of the Year finalist a couple years back. He's like tied for the scoring lead at 30 points per game. You know that he is going to get you rebounds. You know that he passes the ball. His passing is so good right now. He's added and improved his mid-range and three-point shooting. I don't know the percentages. Obviously, I talked about the step back, but he seriously looks a lot more comfortable in them and has all year. And frankly, I just think that he's the best player on earth. I think Giannis is the best player in the world. Out of all the MVP candidates, I'm pretty sure he's going to end with the second seed, which is going to be the highest out of anybody that's really in the discussion. Devin Booker is not in the discussion to me. Yeah, I think Giannis is the MVP. However, Jokic, I think, is a totally valid answer. And if you ask me, like yesterday, when Jokic was playing against the Lakers, and it wasn't even a good game by his standards, and he still had 36, 18, and 7 or whatever, I might have said Jokic. But I'm not gonna be a prisoner of that game and go with my answer for maybe the last week or so, or 2 weeks, which has been Giannis.
That's fair. Yeah, I would agree that it's Giannis. Definitely. On the one hand, if we were to let narrative get into it a little bit more, I think the narrative edge would have to go to Embiid because, I do like the thought experiment of, okay, without this player, what would the team look like? And I think like without Giannis, the Bucks might be like a 6 seed, but without Embiid, the Sixers would be like a 10 seed or something. I don't know. That's just like sort of where I would put it at. And also how he dealt with and put up with the Simmons debacle. But then also, I guess Embiid brought in what we see now as a bit of damaged goods in Harden. So maybe he suffers from a bit of some bad LeBron management, or like LeBron-esque GM management. But I don't know. So, but yeah, I mean, best player in the league / most successful team, best player on that team is Giannis, I think. And he's definitely the one I would want in a series the most out of any of these people. So yeah. We can now, I guess, move to Rhodey, or Rookie of the Year. Who do you guys want to start off on that?
I would be. Does anyone here not have Scotty Barnes as the Rookie of the Year at this point?
Can I give you an even spicier thing?
Okay.
Let's hear it.
Evan Mobley is third in my Rookie of the Year ranking.
Wow.
Wait, don't tell me who's second. Don't tell me yet. Oh, got it. I know who your second is.
Okay, number 1 for me is Scotty Barnes.
Yep.
Okay.
Number 2 for me, and it's a close number 2. He's really close. It's Cade Cunningham.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
Is that who you were thinking?
no.
Yeah, that's what I thought you were going to say.
Who did
I
you
thought you were
think that
thinking
was?
Jalen Green.
Oh no, but he's had a great week. I almost picked him for players pushing P, honestly. No, it's Cade. I feel like people like ignored him, but he looks like the best player in he just looks like the best rookie, and he looks like he's gonna continue to be the best rookie.
Yeah, I'm excited.
Evan Mobley, he has I feel like he hit the rookie wall and then he got injured, right? And that's not to say that he still isn't really good. It's just like MVP. Like, this is just really competitive this year. You know what I mean? And these other guys are like, 1, playing, and 2, playing really well. I feel like Cade, after a while, was honestly playing better than Mobley and Scotty were, and he kept that level up. But you kind of got to knock him a little bit maybe for the beginning of the year where he didn't play so well. I'm just saying, look at some of Cade's recent stats. Like, he is playing out of his mind. I'll pull him. Now, I do want to say this. While I look up Cade Cunningham's game log, I would still pick Evan Mobley first in a redraft. And I would have since the beginning of since the draft, honestly. I said that Evan Mobley should be the first pick overall. But I would still pick Evan Mobley first in a redraft. I just don't think he's first in Rookie of the Year. Let me run you down some Cade stats here.
Okay.
Versus Philly in a win. Matisse Thybulle as his primary defender, he puts up 27 and 6 on 60% shooting. Versus Brooklyn, in Brooklyn, I think in a game that went down to the wire, he put up 34 and 6 on 54% shooting. Played the Knicks, put up 18 and 7. That's a little light work for him. Versus Washington, 22, 7 and 9, 50% shooting. He's just having routine games, 25 and 7, 23, 9 and 10, 27 to 8 and 6 versus like Boston, which is crazy. 26, 28, 6 and 10. Like, he's balling. I feel like people just like aren't seeing it. They're gonna shut him down for the rest of the season. So I feel like you might already miss your chance to watch Cade, but I think he's the best player, and I narrowly had him losing this to Scotty Barnes.
I want to give some love to, and this guy was fun to watch this year.
I know who you're gonna say.
Josh Giddey.
Yes.
Josh Giddey, if I'm not mistaken, he had the most triple doubles out of any rookie.
Yeah,
He might have.
I think he has the youngest triple double because he's only like 19 or something. Definitely not Rookie of the Year, but when Bronny gets drafted to the Thunder in a couple of years and LeBron plays in OKC, he's gonna be a nice piece
Deadly.
in their championship quest.
Sickest flow of the rookies as well. So
Will, did you have Scotty Barnes for Rookie of the Year
yeah,
as well?
I had Scotty Barnes, but I like Eric showing Giddey some love.
It's really a shame that they stink the way they do.
Yeah, you're right.
And
Well,
that
they
guy
stink
whose name I
intentionally.
can't even say. What is that guy's name? And he's 18
Alexei Pokostrashevsky,
and he weighs 50 pounds.
and he's
No,
7 feet tall and weighs 50 pounds. Yeah.
I love it.
Shout out Franz Wagner.
Yeah,
He was balling too.
he's doing well. I think he's.
Here's the side thing. Who was disappointing to you guys? Who
Rookie-wise?
Rookie wise, yeah.
Look at the draft order.
Because
I
you
mean, I
mentioned
don't-
Marco. You mentioned Marco. You would take Evan Mobley number one. That makes me think. Where would you like to have seen Jalen Green go? Both Jalen Green and Jalen Suggs.
I mean, this is really okay. First of all, I feel like I don't get super disappointed in rookies. I think
Mhm.
because I don't expect them to contribute to winning basketball to begin with, or to be in a winning situation to begin with. Cade Cunningham is a winning basketball player, not in a winning situation. You know what I mean? And I have a little bit of a Jeremy Grant rant I might save for a different day, but I feel like he's holding them back a little bit. That's like my spicy thing. We might talk about that in the off season because I'm pretty sure someone is going to trade for Jeremy Grant. Like we just got our third star or our second star. I'm not super disappointed in rookies, honestly. Like Jalen Green was struggling for a while. I wasn't disappointed. I was just like, well, let's wait for him to like figure some stuff and turn it around. And it looks like he has recently. Jalen Suggs, I think people were really low on him, and I'm just like why? Like Scotty Barnes got picked above him, which I mean that's probably accurate. And I thought that was a good pick. I have a friend who's a Raptors fan. I had to like almost console about it. But he's not having a disappointing season. He looks like he's going to be a good player. I'm not that disappointed in any rookies, honestly.
I'm disappointed in Corey Kispert and the Washington Wizards.
Kispert, like you're looking for a role player at that point, or like a borderline starter, and he can do that. Like he looks like an NBA player, I think, right? Like
well, I just don't want them to stunt him like they stunted Denny.
Okay,
they stunted Denny Abdia, and everyone should know that in the world. But I also I don't want to keep on with the negativity, but also shout out to Herb Jones.
Oh, he's been amazing. He might have to make like the first team all rookie, maybe. I don't even know. Yeah. How many rookies are legit good defenders in year one? Like almost none. And he's not just good, he's like really good year one.
Just like it's like you just draft for length and frame, and then like you're like, okay, we can as a team we can develop this. Like Tatum wasn't like a good defender in college, and like now he is. So
you hire for development.
Yeah.
And he's a mini bucket. He put up some pretty good numbers for
what I think was funny? I think the Grizzlies draft for like character.
Yeah, which is working well. So
like they're like, oh, this guy has a chip on his shoulder, like we need it. You know what I mean? That's like how they operate, which I think is really interesting.
They're gonna draft Drew Timmy.
Oh God, no! Please no.
Why not? You didn't see him. You didn't see him in the tournament. He was the only reason they were in those two games that they
Drew
won.
Timmy is like this year's Luka Garza, where he's like gonna go like 56 or something. Okay.
That hurts, man.
Second of all, like the Grizzlies are gonna have Utah's pick, which is gonna be, we're gonna talk about it, but like around 20th, and their own pick, which is gonna be 29th. So I don't know. Maybe they trade up like 16. I would say 15 to 17 is where you can maybe realistically trade up to with those two picks. Trading up is hard. We won't have that Lakers pick, which I'm super mad about. It's okay, but they'll do a good job. They draft really well. What do you guys think for defensive player of the year?
So
Herb Jones. No,
if there was a defensive rookie of the year, you would win it.
I mean, they have it. Okay, side tangent. They do that in the NFL. They should do it in the NBA.
They do. We made a little NFL award we'll get to, but
This is tough. This is tough for me because I really don't want to say Giannis because or Rudy. I'm tired of it.
I'm over the Rudy thing. Like you gotta get to it. Well, did they get? I guess they gotta get to the Western Conference Finals
They've
again.
been sliding.
Yeah, they're
There's
not
people out there. They've been
It's a regular
sliding like
season
in a
award,
water
though.
slide.
No, I know. I just want to see like they're like about. Well, we'll get there. We'll get there. I don't want to give Rudy. I don't want him to be a 4-time depoy. Like doesn't. He seems less than that.
I think the record for defensive player of the years is like 5, held by Dikembe or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like by the end of his career, Gobert will have broken that. However, this is not his year.
Okay.
I think that it might have been, and like voters just didn't want to vote for him. However, it legit is not his year anymore. I feel like he lost it in this last week, even if it's like not always his fault, or we'll talk about whose fault it is really. But who is there anyone that sticks out to you, or can I cape for a Grizzlies player real quick?
Go ahead.
All right. Jaren Jackson Jr. is not even like top 5 in odds for defensive player of the year, and I think that's insane.
Yeah, he's 16-1.
Are you out of like? Yeah, thank you for pulling that real quick. First of all, their defensive rating is 4th in the league. He's played like 75 games. He's played 23 more games than Bam Adebayo. He's played 13 more games, I think, than Giannis or Rudy and Draymond. He's played more games than all of them. He's only missed a couple this year, you know. Whereas those guys all come with extended missing time. Robert Williams, I feel like, was a good pick, but now he's out for the season. Maybe, and their start to the season wasn't necessarily that good. And Marcus Smart, like, no offense to Marcus Smart, but like when you're a guard, like there's only so much you can do to affect the game. And I would have really considered Robert Williams because I thought that he mattered a little more in that equation. Obviously, Marcus Smart is a great defender, but Jaren Jackson Jr. is quarterbacking the 4th best defense in the NBA. He leads the league in blocks. He leads the league in steals plus blocks, aka stocks. His nickname is literally the Block Panther. He like held the team down. Like he was getting like 4 or 5 blocks a game in that first stretch where Ja was down. Like he was locked in. And I just kind of feel like, you know, Ja Morant is not going to win the MVP, but some of his teammates and coaches, like, they need a lot of credit for what's happened, like when he's not been able to play. You know, even if he's their best player, Jaren Jackson Jr. I think should, if he doesn't at least get top 3 in defensive player of the year, I'm going to be furious. But he should win it.
Okay, that's fair. I like all the things you put down.
Say Jason Tatum. Don't laugh.
No, he's just not on the like top 12 odds.
Him and Jaylen Brown should come together and
the Boston Celtics just win it.
Yeah.
Somehow.
No, I mean give Jason Tatum defensive player of the year.
Fair enough.
Okay. I can't argue with that.
I mean,
yeah, if you guys don't have any strong takes, like
I don't have any strong takes. I think Giannis's block last week was sick.
It was.
So that's like recency heuristic. Like it's probably not him, but it's a function of how much you're covered, right? And he's like covered the most probably of the people in this discussion. So, but yeah, Triple J. It's an important award. Give it to Triple J. You've laid it out well. Coach of the year. Who's everyone's coach of the year?
Is it time for me to cape for a Grizzly again?
I mean, but I think before Marco goes in on it, I think it really should be Memphis. It should be Taylor Jenkins. So
Good see.
Marco, the floor is yours.
Of the awards that I think the Grizzlies should have, like a player or coach win, like that's probably the one that I would say they most deserve. And obviously that comes a lot with the now 20-2 record without Ja Morant, I believe. And the latest one coming without Ja Morant, Jaren Jackson Jr., Desmond Bane, or Tyus Jones, where they beat the Suns, who were playing everybody. That game was fun to watch as a fan, and just kind of shows you like how much confidence the coaching staff has inspired in the team 1 through 15 or 1 through 17 to come in and contribute. And I just really, I think they did a great job. And yeah, I think Taylor Jenkins, like to me, it's either Taylor Jenkins or Monty Williams. But that game, like that might kind of leave like a bad taste in somebody's mouth. The last 2 games of Monty Williams. This I don't mean to like jump in here. Monty Williams should have won last year.
Yeah, last year.
So let's not like be like, oh, we should have given it to him last year, so now we'll give it to him this year. He's coached a fantastic year, and I think he should still come in second this year. But last year he should have won. So let's not just get it. Like, I just don't want us to start being like, oh, we messed up.
We'll give it.
Let's give it to Monty because he needs one.
Right.
Like, you should have given it to him. You should have given it to him last year. And now look at how the Knicks are doing. Which doesn't really matter in this context, but just illustrates my point. I thought it should have been Monty last year too.
That's fair. Yeah, no, it should have been Monty last year. He's a minus 2,000 favorite, so I mean, he probably will win it. But I agree.
Okay. He
should not. I can't disagree with your Memphis take, but sort of just in the same vein, I kind of like Ime. I think he came in, broke the Celtics of old. I think everyone sort of thought like they just sort of roll over. He sort of broke them of their bad habits, got them to play a really good, team locked in defense. We see, now we're not saying break up the Jays. We're very excited about what they can be. So I mean, just in terms of how big of a swing they took this offseason with how they restructured their like coaching and front office, I think it's a win. And also I think Ime is the biggest part of that. Just very impressed with the turnaround we've seen from them. So yeah.
Shout out JB Bickerstaff. Honorable
Yes.
mention.
Yes, that's true.
Quinn Snyder, I'll see you somewhere else next year.
All right. Did he win 1 year? I think it was like 2 years ago.
I'm gonna fact check you there. Let's see. He did not.
Okay. I thought he might have won like 2 years ago. No, he was the D-League Coach of the Year in 2009 though. That's probably not what I was thinking of at all. I probably just got lucky there. But on the Utah Jazz.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Segues. Let's do it.
What the hell, man?
Let's do it.
So just to kind of recap what's happened over the last week. They blew I believe 15-point fourth quarter lead to Golden State in the span of about a minute and a half, it felt like. And they blew another 25-point lead to the LA Clippers, playing in Paul George's first game back in I believe it was 42 games. So 41 points of blown lead combined when you think about it. And they've slipped from who was maybe one of the preseason favorites to be a top 1 or 2 seed to down, they even held 2 and 3 for a while, all the way down to 6th. And they're 2 losses ahead of Minnesota right now. If they don't get it together, it is mathematically possible for them to still fall into the play in 7th. But what the hell?
Dude, it's
who's
so
got words
ridiculous.
on the Jazz?
They like when you look at this team and just how they've played this season, like just looking at the stats, like you're literally like all I keep coming back to is this is the Green Bay Packers of the NBA. Like such a solid team, like in the regular season. It seems like they have always put together a good roster. They don't have an Aaron Rodgers, but like
Donovan.
well,
I
this
don't
is
know if you can't put him on the same level, obviously, but
this
Donovan
team.
Mitchell was not like an MVP.
right. You can't put him on the same level. You're right.
This team shoots threes pretty well. This team, I mean,
Very well.
yeah, they shoot the second most threes. They make the 8th most in percentage wise. They play good defense. What? I don't.
Wait, do they?
They play pretty good defense. All
Okay.
things considered, they're 10th in opposing field goal, which is like top 3rd.
Okay.
So
Okay. Let me ask you a question. Do they play good defense though, or do they have a player who plays good defense?
I mean, it does help to have a guy who,
I would
bats the ball like it's volleyball every time someone shoots the ball. Yeah.
Yeah. So I just want to say that the issue that led to them losing to the Clippers in the playoffs was not on defense, Rudy Gobert.
Mhm.
Everybody remembers, the Clippers players driving downhill at Gobert and finishing over him or getting corner threes out of it. Let me tell you, that's literally not Rudy Gobert's fault. He's doing what he's supposed to do. The issue is you have perimeter defenders who let their players get by them, their guys get by them, and drive straight at Rudy Gobert, right? And once you got an NBA player driving straight with confidence, straight downhill with confidence, they're gonna finish over you like a lot of the time. They're not facing any resistance until they get right to the basket. And that led to them, losing to the playoffs to the Clippers. So what did they do this summer to resolve that issue, to resolve some of their perimeter defense issues? Well, they got rid of Derek Favors. Okay, maybe they would get perimeter defenders from there. No, they got Hassan Whiteside and Rudy Gay, who has now had, I think, 2 straight DNP CDs. In order to give them a backup center and perhaps a small ball center look to deal with switching, which means you're just not going to play Rudy Gobert.
It's a Lakers
I don't know about
vibe.
that one. What's up?
That's a Lakers vibe right there, but go ahead.
That is the Lakers vibe. But that just means that you're not going to play Rudy Gobert to do like a bad small ball center lineup in the playoffs. Oh, so in that same time, you're still starting Mike Conley, who used to be a really good defender but is aging. Bojan Bogdanovic, who's not a good perimeter defender. Royce O'Neal, who is very overrated on perimeter defense. You were counting on Royce O'Neal to do a lot on perimeter defense. And Donovan Mitchell, who he might be one of the most athletic and strong players in the NBA on offense. On defense, he does absolutely nothing. He was like he's one of the main culprits of these guys flying downhill at Rudy. And obviously this caused a rift between the two of them, and they've done nothing to solve it. And at this point, I'm not sure that they can. They would need to pull a rabbit out of their hat. I'm not sure that they believe that they can solve it. That was my rant. What you guys got?
I think he probably asks out soon here, right? Like,
I think they're gonna get rid of Quinn Snyder first, like all these other NBA teams do, where they point the finger at the coach and they get rid of him, and then they realize, oh, maybe it wasn't the coach's fault, and then they're gonna. I'm trying to think of the last example of this. I mean, it's about to be Frank Vogel, but help me out here, guys.
Frank Vogel was a scapegoat. Yeah.
Who was the last? Like, this is a theme, but I'm trying to think of like the last example of like a coach that got ousted when it wasn't really his fault. Oh, Dwayne Casey. I mean, that was a while ago.
Wait, whoa! They won a championship right after that.
That was after they got Kawhi.
Okay, but Casey, like, look, Nick Nurse is better than Dwayne Casey.
I know there's a better recent example though. I can't think of it.
Yeah, I'm not gonna give you Dwayne Casey. I'm gonna be honest, but
I can't. But the point is, they all. I mean, that's just the way. That's the way sports is in general. Like NFL and all that stuff. Like the coach will be the first guy to go, even if it's not necessarily his fault. But I think, being stuck in a small market.
Any Sacramento coach. That's a great example.
Oh yeah, Mike.
Any head coach for the Sacramento Kings. Luke Walton. It happened this year.
Yeah, it happened to Luke Walton. Yeah, and at the Lakers too. Yeah.
But, Terry Stotts. That's a great example. Actually, is Terry.
Yes,
Stotts.
Terry Stotts. Terry Stotts is a good coach. Where is he at right now?
I don't think he has a head coaching job. I don't know if he's an assistant.
He's doing something, right?
He might be an Indiana assistant. I'm not sure.
I don't think he's doing anything. But Terry Stotts is a great example. It's like there wasn't anything like Portland's main problem. Like when he was getting fired, it's like, and it still is their problem. Like they don't have good bigs. But that's not what are you supposed to do when you have Enes Freedom? That's his name now. Enes Freedom
wasn't at the time.
And
Nurkic is a pretty good big.
But like to win a championship, to advance in the West, it's like
I would say their main issue was their defense and their small guards.
Yep. But I'm going off on a bit of a rant, but the point is they're gonna fire a good coach in Quinn Snyder. And I don't know, like it's just one of those things like who are they gonna replace with? Maybe they pick up Frank Vogel after the Lakers fire him, but this is like I think that's what we can expect. And how they move forward, I don't know. Like firing a coach is not going to fix a rift. You're just going to bring in a coach into a new system where there's already a pre-existing rift between your two best players. So it's going to be tough goings for Utah for a minute.
That's true.
I'm not done with Utah, if you don't mind.
No,
first of all,
I want you to apologize to Dwayne Casey because I feel like he deserves more respect. And if LeBron wasn't in the East, he would have been an NBA champion.
He's a good coach. Nurse is better and did a better job in the playoffs. And I don't care that they had Kawhi. He did a better job the next year too in 2020 when they had no Kawhi and no DeMar.
That's true.
He did a better job than Dwayne Casey.
Cade Cunningham wouldn't be doing what he's doing right now without Dwayne Casey.
All right, man.
All right,
Dwayne Casey was really good, though. He's really good.
He's a good man.
I think Nick Nurse is better.
He's a good, they just did him dirty, but anyway.
Okay. Who is gonna ask out?
Jordan Clarkson. No, I don't know.
Sure, why not? Will seems to think Donovan Mitchell would ask out, and I think he would maybe say it's me or Gobert or something like that.
Yeah.
Who is in their right to ask out? I think is Rudy, and I don't even I'm not a Rudy guy. Like I'm not one of the stat guys who thinks that he's the MVP or anything like that.
Right.
Like who is in their right? Who is being done dirty? I saw a stat today and yesterday.
Okay,
Donovan Mitchell averages 2 passes per game. 2 passes, not assists, per game to Gobert. He passes to him twice per game.
That's
Mhm.
A
ridiculous.
couple of years ago, this used to be 5 or 6 times a game. It's twice now.
Mhm.
I'm watching clips of the Warriors comeback against Utah, and he would seal Clay off under the basket multiple times. No one's even looking to get him the ball. They're just passing it around the perimeter, you know. And I understand that like the big knock on Rudy is like he can't punish switches on offense. He has Clay Thompson right under the basket. All he has to do is turn and dunk. You know, we're not asking him to do like a post move or something. You know, um, and they ended up losing by 4. And you know, he had Clay sealed off a couple times. So all I'm saying is that that's like one loss they could have avoided. Who is in their right to ask out? I feel like is Rudy. I feel like their new ownership probably wouldn't trade Donovan Mitchell
Yeah.
so quickly because he's a lot more marketable.
Yeah, D Wade also
Because-
loves that guy.
Right.
It's gonna be.
And I understand.
It would be so much harder to trade Rudy too, because how many teams, one, like will give up what needs to be given up to trade for Rudy, and two, trade for a guy. If you're trading for a guy that not only makes $35 million a year, and probably can't be the primary scorer on your team,
Right.
that's kind of weird. That's kind of a weird situation.
Can I propose a trade?
He hasn't averaged more than 16 points in his career. And most
Okay,
NBA,
but he's averaging 16 points and 14 rebounds, and like is probably one of the most impactful defenders in the league, if not the most impactful defender in the league.
but my question is, what situation can he go to? What team is going to be like, this is the guy I don't know. What team?
I got you. I got the trade for you.
Oh, here, let's get it.
Rudy Gobert for a package circling around Clint Capella and John Collins.
Ooh.
Utah gets back Clint Capella, who is a worse version of Gobert, but you don't have to, you know, treat him as well. They also get John Collins, who is very good and can play small ball center sometimes if that's really what they choose to go with. You know, Atlanta pairs maybe the best defender in the league with maybe the worst one.
Oh, shit.
And therefore gets a pretty good defense probably with Nate McMillan, who's a great coach. And they still keep guys like Herter, DeAndre Hunter, a lot of their rotation going into next year. I feel like they're Trey is an offense in and of himself, and Gobert is a defense in and of himself, basically. And you just build it with role players from there. Feel like that would be a really, really appealing for both teams. I've seen reports. There was like a podcast out on this. I've seen reports that the Mavs would be interested, but I don't know what they would give up.
Right.
Yeah, I don't know.
Okay, that is interesting. So if you did make that trade, the Hawks would be looking at a starting lineup of Trae Young, Kevin Herter, DeAndre Hunter. I don't know how if you traded John Collins,
I'm saying you probably make more than one move. You can make more than one move in the offseason, you know.
Yeah, but how much is Trae Young making with his new? Because he signed the extension.
If he makes all NBA this year, it's a super max.
So,
which he should. He should make all NBA this year.
Yeah.
He should make the third team, in my opinion.
Yeah.
But
so super max.
His extension is like $207 million. I think it's like 40 a year.
You think that would push them up though? Where are they right now? They're
like
8th, right? 8th or 9th.
Yeah.
Wow, that they really pulled ahead because they started the year. They were
so poorly.
They were stinky. But I think it's a good trade when you look at like for the two teams. I just don't. It kind of like, does it elevate them that much? I don't know. I don't think it does much for Utah other than getting rid of that riff that's there that we're mentioning, and with the Hawks, I will say that would be quite interesting because it is undeniable that Trae Young cannot play defense to save his life or anyone
Note,
around him.
let me note one thing. Both of the teams mentioned, the Hawks and the Mavs, have a player who would actually play pick and roll with Rudy Gobert.
Wait, say it again.
Both of the teams mentioned, the Mavs and the Hawks, who would be interested, have a player who would actually play pick and roll with Rudy Gobert and try to get him the ball.
Mhm.
As opposed to
I don't know.
upset Donovan.
I really like I want to really like Donovan Mitchell, but I feel like I've seen the light. Like I feel like he's their real issue here in a sense. I don't want to say that he's the issue, right? But like I think he could be doing more on defense. I think the passing stat is pretty damning. I think like his face when they throw the leads is like he had nothing to do with it, or he doesn't know what to do about it. And I'm just like, there's some very clear things you could try that would change things, you know? Like I think that he's lost belief. I think if you're Utah and things go south, which it looks like they really might or probably will, you might have to think about trading both of them, trading everything. Like,
Do you
think
think
about
that
it.
the Jazz could get more for? I think they could probably get more for Mitchell.
Yeah, they probably
Gobert.
could. Gobert might be the more impactful player, and Mitchell would still get you more back.
I wonder where now I'm thinking where Mitchell. I mean, where Mitchell could go.
There's always the Knicks reports.
Yeah, I was thinking the Knicks. What was the second thing you said? Team?
For Gobert or
For
for
Mitchell.
Mitchell?
You said the Knicks and
Oh, I don't think I mentioned the second one.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I can't the Knicks for sure, but
I don't know. I don't want to call him the problem, but he's
there
not
is
helping.
a problem.
Yeah, he's not
Right.
helping the problem.
Right.
And some of the things that he is doing are exacerbating.
Free Jordan Clarkson, man. I like him, man. He needs to be on a
Free
I
Jordan
want
Clarkson.
to get him to the Nuggets. Can we do that?
That would be pretty good for them. They could use scoring off the bench. Will Barton
Him and Bones, man. They'd be
is
killing.
Bones. Bones is a player, bro.
Bones is a player. What's the next topic we want to hit? Do we want to just circle back to the top with the Mavs?
Oh, the Mavs.
The Mavs.
Yes.
Eric's prophecy is like so close to coming true.
Very excited.
The Mavs are so close to the 3 seed. They need to win. They have the tiebreaker. They need to win one more game than the Warriors the rest of the way to take that 3 seed from them, and therefore avoid Phoenix in the second round,
which is a major key
if possible. But Eric, let me hear about your Mavs.
Well, I'm trying to remember what I guess the turning point for them was when they traded Kristaps.
Yeah.
But maybe even a little bit before that, we had identified that they were just not a great 3-point shooting team. And like looking at the season overall, they're not the best, but their defense has kept really well. And we all have agreed that if they can avoid Phoenix in that second round, they get that 3 seed, they're going to be on their merry way to the Western Conference Finals. So, and good for them for getting that trade done, because who did they get? They got Spencer Dinwiddie and
Davis Bertans.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And Bertans for them still stinks, but I know Spencer Dinwiddie. Spencer Dinwiddie is that was a nice pickup for them. So no, I'm trying to remember the strength of schedule, Matt. Like I know there's like how many games are left? Like 5 in the season?
4 or 5, I think.
I think 3 literally. They're 49 and 30. That would indicate they played
Yeah, there's
79 games.
There's
They,
three.
they play the they play the Pistons, the Trailblazers, and the Spurs to close out the season. But Golden
Okay,
State,
3-0.
Who's Golden State play?
Golden State plays the Lakers, the Spurs, and the Pelicans.
So they'll lose to the
That
Pelicans.
but who's really going to be trying?
Right. Well,
The Pelicans might
The
not
Lakers
try.
Might try.
Yeah. I'll tell you what though, the Warriors and the Mavericks will probably be trying because I think they also can identify that they don't want to play Phoenix. Nobody wants to play Phoenix.
No one wants to play.
They don't want to play Phoenix for sure. So
I'll also tell you what. It doesn't matter if the Lakers try.
That's also
Oh,
true.
yeah.
It doesn't matter if the Lakers try.
I guess it's tough, man. 'cause
Would I call the Mavs co-favorites though? That's just what's written in our notes. Here.
Right.
No.
That's an
no.
overstatement, you think?
Phoenix
So
is
you
so.
you have
I
the
think Phoenix.
Suns, and then Memphis, and then the Mavs. Okay.
You're
Okay.
saying that the Mavs have all of a sudden leapfrogged the Grizzlies, who just beat the full strength Suns without their top four, without
And
the
then
Grizzlies' top four
they beat the
players.
Bucks, so it was overreaction time.
Okay. Gotta put that.
I think I'll tell you what, that 7-game that'll be a great series if that does shake out to be Mavs and
Suns or Mavs Grizzlies, both would be awesome.
Mavs Grizzlies.
Yeah.
Because
Cool.
if the Mavs end up being the 3 seed in the second round, they would play the Grizzlies, right?
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
that would be sick.
I
would
would
wild.
be there. I would be there for game one.
That's exciting. That's cool.
But I don't.
I don't know. I gotta make sure I got the money, but you know,
Right.
If
let's
Golden,
rock. Let's rock.
but if
Right.
Golden State wins these last 3 games, then it's
It's
Then-
theirs if theirs if they can do it, but like honestly, their track record without Steph is not amazing. I wouldn't be surprised if one of these teams pulls out a surprise win. I think the Lakers game is maybe the last game that the Lakers should even try.
Mhm.
And they match up kind of well. AD is gutting it out for what it's worth.
Mhm.
I need Russ to go Super Saiyan or something.
Can you give me your Lakers take, Will?
So I just.
Oh, I didn't mean to cut you out, by the way.
Oh no! I mean, it came true. They're missing the playoffs almost officially at this point. But they're, I think, a game and a half back of the Spurs, and they quite literally have no fight. They have no gas pedal. They can't do anything. AD's back, can look awful, but they just, LeBron's disinterested. LeBron's faking an injury. It's over. This iteration is at least over.
He's faking an injury.
I think he just wants the scoring title. He's like, I'm probably gonna get it now. Let's just shut it down.
I gotta say, I've had such a great season watching the Lakers as someone who wants them to lose so bad. It's been so fun. Like
LA resident Lakers hater.
Yeah, true.
That's crazy.
it's gone way back too. I didn't root for the Lakers when they played the Celtics. And I rooted for Dwight Howard and Hedo Turkoglu and Jameer Nelson all the way when they played them in the finals like 10 years ago. I never liked the Lakers. I never will like the Lakers. It's been really fun. I'm enjoying it because I don't know if it's gonna. Well, maybe it will be like this for a while, and I'll be very happy.
So I just want to throw this out there. I saw Kevin Wildes had this take this morning that LeBron, likes to be in LA, but the team is trash. He's, made the roster very bad. He should demand a trade to the Clippers for Paul George.
That's funny.
For Paul George.
Yeah, so he plays the Kawhi, or Kawhi, but one of the two. I imagine he'd want to play with Kawhi more.
Probably. I kind of feel like if I'm the Clippers, I might not do it.
I wouldn't do that.
Why would I?
You don't think
Clippers,
he's an upgrade over Paul George? At this stage, you're saying? Like how old he is?
If I'm the Clippers, I'm going into the next year thinking we're the title favorites, and I think very reasonably so.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know, like, if I would just change that.
Okay. That's fair.
They're pretty. They have
And-
some. Can we go over their roster real quick? Like going into next year,
Sure.
they got some nice vets. You know, we joke about Nicholas Batum, but like he's a nice piece.
I don't joke about him. He's really good.
I joke about him for when
When
the
he was a
worst owner
Hornet?
in basketball, Michael Jordan, gave him like how much money did he give him? Like 60
The
million?
max at the time. It was the
Yeah.
max at the time.
Worst owner in basketball. But they got Nicholas Batum. They picked up Brandon Boston Jr., he's had some really bright spots this year as a rookie.
I didn't believe in Brandon Boston because Cal is a terrible coach, and therefore he made me not believe in Brandon Boston. But now I believe in Brandon Boston.
They picked up Robert Covington and
Norman Powell.
in one of the weirder trades this year. They have Reggie Jackson, who the past couple of years, Reggie Jackson has looked very nice.
Reggie Jackson's nice.
Mm-hmm.
And they have Luke Kennard
Mm-hmm.
and
Looks really good this year. Zubats
Zubac.
So, the Lakers.
and
Terrence Mann.
Terrence Mann. Isaiah Hartenstein was hooping in that Jazz game. He was playing his heart out. He's a great backup center.
They have a squad. They have a nice squad. And the players that we mentioned, they can all contribute in scoring and play some nice defense. So
and they have the best coach in the league.
They do have this.
And therefore
Pop's retiring. So I guess
Pop is one of the maybe the best coach of all time, one of the best coaches of all time for sure. But like you haven't gotten to even see him like retain his status.
Right.
You know what I mean?
That's true. Okay. Yeah.
He's maybe the like one of the best floor raisers in the league for sure.
Mm-hmm.
But I need to see him in those high pressure moments for him to keep that title. You know what I mean?
That's fair.
Like
all of this is to say you don't touch LeBron with a 10-foot pole. Whoever that guy was.
Okay, but let me just like let's say you trade Paul George, you got under contract for a while.
Mm-hmm.
Let's say you trade for LeBron. And LeBron said the year after that, maybe they don't win the title. And LeBron says the year after that, oh, I want to play with Bronny. Let me go to Portland. So now you're out Paul George and
LeBron. Lost Paul George. You didn't win a championship. Okay, yeah, it's from
or maybe Bronny's not ready yet because Bronny,
takes a couple of years.
Maybe it takes a couple of years. He's like, oh, I want to go play in Cleveland now. One last ride in Cleveland.
Right.
Then I'll play with Bronny.
Right.
Then I'll pass Kareem and everything. Like, I don't know. I just wouldn't mess with that right now. Like, and I'm not a Clippers guy, but I'm like, you might have to stick with what you got there.
That's fair.
I don't know what the Lakers do this summer. I don't know.
Oh.
Today, Magic Johnson was on TV saying that they should like run it back with LeBron, AD, and Westbrook. I'm like, did you watch the same thing that I did?
He did that he did that definitely as a joke, and it was spiteful.
Oh, really?
Because of how no. I'm just saying because of how he left it with them. But
he's still like the advisor. Like he's still like actually making the decisions almost.
Yeah, he was like, he had some bad quotes today.
I think you just focus on the Dodgers. They're in a much better spot. No, the Lakers is gonna. Like I said, I am happy as a clam that this is happening. And we all know, and you know what? I'm going to keep piling on. We all know that they would not have won the championship in 2020 if the season didn't have a 5-month gap because AD would have fallen like a Jenga tower in the playoffs if he had to play this season from where it continued in March.
I don't know if we can say that for sure. But
yes, we can. Marco, back me up.
I'm not going to say that.
because
I'm not.
they
Hey,
literally just
everyone
had the best
benefited from
weekend
the
of their
same
season.
thing.
They beat the Clippers and the Bucks. Like they'd been like, okay, we finally hit our stride. We can beat the
Mhm.
best teams in the league.
And the Celtics. They beat the Celtics that week too.
Yeah, yeah. So it's like they were peaking at the right time. Like that was the right time to be peaking anyways.
Mhm.
And then they did also happen to be the team that seemed to want to be in the bubble the most, besides like Avery Bradley, who didn't go. But like,
Didn't they
yeah.
like actually vote to not continue the bubble with the
no, that was
Clippers?
I thought that was Kyrie.
No, I
Kyrie
thought
just
there
didn't
was
go
like
to the bubble. Okay, yeah, no, you're right on that front. They like were toying with that idea, but when they decided to play, they seemed they wanted to be there the most versus like
I'm not sure because the seeding games, the first 8 games, they looked bad.
Hold on.
since
then-
they literally needed to. Okay, if I remember, they were like they beat the Clippers and then they needed to win one more game. They locked up the number 1 seed.
Oh, okay.
So it was
Hold
like
on.
they didn't need to do much in the first 8 games.
Forget this bubble. Let's say
But then they lost game 1 to the Blazers,
I
and
think they won
Chuck
they lost every
brought
game
out the
one that they
brew.
played or something. They lost
They-
like almost,
they didn't lose game 1 to the Nuggets, and I don't know if they lost
Yeah.
game 1 to
They
the
gentlemen
Celtics.
swept through the West and they won in 6 against the Heat.
forget this bubble though. Let's say that there was no pandemic, which sounds really nice. But let's
Yeah.
say
Yeah.
there's
Oh,
no
That sounds
pandemic.
nice.
Do you trust AD to hold up the entire postseason,
I
No,
don't trust anybody to hold up the entire postseason,
especially
honestly.
Anthony Davis?
Okay, well, maybe like I would just say, like, I'm not gonna say that you're wrong. However, I will say they always say at the end of the season, everybody is nicked up and bruised up, right?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Don't you think that as we were approaching the end of the season there, it helped a lot of guys to have a 5-month break before they headed into a playoff situation?
Mhm.
Yeah.
I do.
From a health standpoint, I mean, I'm pretty sure Giannis had missed like 2
Giannis
or
just
3
got
weeks.
hurt. Yeah.
Yeah,
Giannis,
he
broke
got
his
hurt in
ankle.
that Lakers game, actually.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Mhm.
He sprained his knee,
Yeah.
and he was gonna miss like 3 or 4 weeks leading like right into the playoffs.
Mhm.
Now they ended up losing anyway because I feel like there are several different issues, but like it helped a lot of guys to have a bubble season.
Yeah. Well, you know what they say, right? If ifs were fits,
We'd all be drunk.
yeah. So, you know what, Will? Enjoy that championship. I'm gonna enjoy the next 3 years watching the Lakers burn.
Thank
And,
you.
I'm
and
glad that we didn't get to
Marco's gonna enjoy it with me because he's
I'm
a
gonna
Grizzlies
dream
fan.
about lottery guys in a Grizzlies jersey and
Dude, I'm
wonder
just
what
sick
could have
of.
been.
You know what it is? LA fans are entitled. LA fans are entitled, and I don't like how, like, there's no homegrown feel to anything, and we're always trading. I don't like that.
Okay, that's fair. So
That's why I actually liked Lonzo, and I like when
I like
Brandon
that
Ingram,
version
I
of
was
the
like, oh,
Lakers. I did too.
we're gonna try to do this. We're gonna try to do this a different way. And then LeBron came in and he was like, get rid of all these guys. Maybe
Now it was the right decision.
If you win a ring,
It's
it's the right
sad.
decision.
it's
Let's
sad.
let's not let me just be clear about something. I've seen from depressed Lakers fans this season a lot of nostalgia about like the Lonzo Ball, Jordan Clarkson, Julius Randle days.
Right.
Okay.
Those were really good days.
If all those guys were still Lakers, they would be in like the same spot basically. Well, maybe they'd have like maybe they would have some picks or something like that, but they would be in like 9th rather than 11th or 8th. You know, they would still be in a play-in situation. Let me point something out to you. Lonzo Ball he took a long time to get to as good as he is now. Kyle Kuzma took a long time to get to as good as he is now. Brandon Ingram, the best of that bunch, would be your best player. And he didn't make an all-star team this year, even though I thought that he played at an all-star level. That would be your best player. Julius Randle was already on the way out of LA at that point for not playing well. D'Angelo Russell was already on his way out. They traded him for Timofey Mozgov, I'm pretty sure. Right? Like
that was like locker room stuff.
Oh my
but
God.
Yeah. Who locker room stuff. Yeah. We all know what happened. But like Jordan Clarkson, he won Sixth Man of the Year on the Jazz because all he has to do is score. Right. He doesn't have to
each of these players have found like close to the best roles for them and those roles all can't be on the same team. So it is like a faulty thought experiment, like you're pointing out.
There are mistakes that the Lakers made that they did not have to make. One, they did not have to trade Ivica Zubac for Mike Muscala.
Right.
That's insanity. They did not have to. Well, even before that, they didn't have to let Brook Lopez go. I'm pretty sure.
Right.
They did not have to. They did not have to trade for Russell Westbrook. Magic Johnson was on TV today saying that they could have had DeMar DeRozan and kept some role guys. Now he also said they should run it back with Russ, LeBron, and AD, but he probably has some inside information there. So there's a lot of stuff. They didn't have to let Caruso walk. They literally could have paid him. They didn't have to buy into the THT hype and make him like maybe one of the worst contracts. His contract is not insane, but you think about the level of player that you're getting, I feel like it's one of the most insane contracts in the league.
Can I just say about that point about Magic Johnson having some inside information? Magic Johnson looks like he couldn't keep a secret for his life. Like every time I hear him talk, it's funny that Marco said that because I wouldn't trust him with a secret at all.
And he has all of theirs.
Right. Yeah. And also, you forgot to say NBA champion Timofey Mozgov.
Oh, you're absolutely right about that.
You know, he was the first Russian to play in the NBA Finals. Didn't know that.
That's crazy. I'm going to wait. What was I going to say? Oh, Magic Johnson. But the problem starts at the top. Because the thing is, no matter what you do with the roster this year, the person making the decisions is Pelinka, who is reportedly unpopular, which makes sense because he was a former agent, and now he's dealing with all the people that he had an adverse relationship with, or like a tenuous relationship with when he was an agent, trying to make business deals with them now. Of course, they don't want to make deals with him. They didn't like him when he was an agent. And Jeannie Buss, who is apparently listening to all sorts of people like Kurt Rambis who said that they should play DeAndre Jordan more, and was, it sounded from his suggestions like he wasn't watching the games. And is, he might be stuck in the 80s a little bit. Now, Jeannie Buss, they might have some financial trouble, I've heard, which leads to them not being able to pay for a championship team as much. But this is also just straight up nepotism. Like, have you hired she's the owner, but she's also kind of making the decisions. Like, are you hiring all the right people for the job? Or did you hire Pelinka because you were close with Kobe and he was Kobe's agent? Did you hire, are you making the right decisions on that front? She, I'm not trying to take away from her ability to do this job, but I think she specifically is not making the right decisions here.
I mean, she renamed the arena Crypto.com Arena in the middle of the team sucking. You don't rename the building in the middle of a sucky year. everyone's gonna associate with. This is a very minor point. Marco has great points. I'm being an idiot, but the point is,
Correct.
from the top
Don't even-
down, something is very wrong.
You're not like you're honestly saving me from myself here. Like I just don't think that. I don't think all of a sudden you're gonna see a turnaround where it's like,
No.
oh, like
This is
they
gonna
just
be
started to
carried
make
out.
good decisions.
It's honestly going to
No.
get boring, like rooting against the Lakers. Like, you think you want
It got
something.
sad this year, man. It got sad.
It
Yeah, it
really
was not
did. It
fun.
really did. And I feel bad for Will because Will's my homie.
Yeah.
And as much as I enjoyed watching the Lakers blow leads and airball threes, I know what it feels like to watch a team that I'm a New York Giants fan. It's not fun watching a crap team. It sucks.
Bro, I watched the Grizzlies. I watched all 82 games of a season. They went 22-60.
I love it.
Okay.
You're locked in,
And
bro.
I
You
believe
deserve this.
they started the season like 13-6 and then went, think about it, 9-51
crazy.
from there on out. And I stuck it out.
What year was that?
That was I think that was freshman year of college.
Wow.
Holy hell.
It was 2018.
It was the
And then they had the second best lottery odds, fell out of the number 2 spot where they could have drafted Luka Doncic and end up with Jaren Jackson. Now, a year later, we have the 8th best lottery odds, jump up to 2 and draft John Morant. I'm a happy man at the end of the day, right? But think about the pain. Think about the pain I was in.
You could have had Luka. Yeah.
Think about this. Imagine if you were like the Kings and you had that number 2 pick and you drafted Marvin Bagley.
I don't think they would have done that. I don't think any other team would have done that. I don't think any other team except for the Kings would have picked Marvin Bagley.
Is the GM of the Kings Peja Stojakovic?
No, he works for them. It was Vlade at the time, right?
Well, who is it now?
Monty McNair.
Shout out Peja Stojakovic.
That he got me into basketball. Peja, by the way. Peja Stojakovic got me into basketball.
NBA champion.
So let me just tell you a quick story for us to wrap it up here.
That's okay. Perfect.
I moved to Memphis in 2003.
Okay.
And
from where?
That upstate New York.
I didn't know that.
I was very young. Well, I didn't live in upstate New York that long. I had come from Chicago to upstate New York to Memphis, 2003. I was very young.
I didn't know that either.
Yeah, I'm just also giving out all the answers to my security questions.
Oh.
No. So 2003 came to Memphis. There is a Grizzlies Kings game. Now, my dad had watched a lot of basketball. He had moved to Chicago in like Bulls fever in '96. Never had like enough money to go see Michael Jordan play, but was watching him all the time. And he gets a job in Memphis, and I think that winter we go see Kings at Grizzlies because my dad wants to see Peja Stojakovic and Vlade Divac, who are like hometown heroes. You know what I mean? Or like home country heroes, like national heroes. That's the correct term, right? We get there and I'm like, I'm going to root for the Grizzlies just to be against you and make it fun. That is how I was born as a Grizzlies fan. Okay. Wow. Kept it up on and off for a while. The Grizzlies weren't always that good during that time period. 2011, I'm starting to get back into basketball a little bit, and look who it is on TV playing in the playoffs. Peja Stojakovic. And I rooted for the Mavs from when they took down the Lakers all the way to the finals where they took down the Heat, and watched my guy Peja Stojakovic play really well, honestly, in like a role player scenario and get a ring. And that is, since then I've watched like almost every Grizzlies game, even though I know Peja was on the Mavs at the time, but like getting back into it like that got me into basketball to this degree. So
Dang.
shout out Peja Stojakovic. He's the reason I'm such a big basketball fan.
That's awesome. Thank you for sharing that. Wow.
No problem.
It's cool.
The first Lakers game I went to was Lakers versus the Grizzlies.
Wow.
Really?
Yeah.
And the Grizzlies won?
No.
No.
Probably not.
No.
Probably not.
This was in, oh gosh, like 2008 or 9. So
Oh, did they have Powell? They probably
Yeah.
had Powell at the time too. So
Yeah.
we were terrible.
You guys
We
were
were legit awful. Yeah.
That's
Mhm.
cool. Well,
I'll find you guys the box score of that game. The first
yeah,
one I went.
please. Cool. Well, I think that wraps it about up. Unless anything else.
Man, the season's coming to an end. What a great season. Playoff basketball. Here we come.
Playoffs, baby.
I'm excited to drop our brackets and
Oh yeah, we gotta do
the
brackets.
plan. Yeah.
Stay
it's gonna be
tuned,
sweet.
everybody.
Stay tuned.
Yes,
All
sir.
right. Perfect.